Pismo Beach isn't just one little town. It's actually broken up into several different sections that were built chronologically throughout over the last 100 years. I'm going to break down 7 different areas. A lot of people only know about one or two. So in this video, I'm breaking down all 7 areas of Pismo Beach, starting with the oldest part of town and then moving forward in time to the newest that's happening right now. Each area has a totally different vibe, home style, and type of buyer that it attracts. If you're interested in Central Coast and you like videos that break down areas like this, make sure you subscribe and comment on the video so you'll be the first to know when I post more videos about the Central Coast. And hang in there till the very end because seeing all 7 areas, especially with the timeline, is the only way that you're really going to understand Pismo Beach. So let's start where it all began, right at the pier. Okay, so you can see that I've zoomed in to the downtown area. This is where it all began in Pismo Beach. It started in the early 1900s up until about the 40s or so. And then obviously they're still building down there. So this is the birthplace of Pismo Beach as a resort town. It was developed around the rail access and the beach tourism. The Pismo Pier, which is right here, this was really kind of the main attraction that brought people into town. And then the original building down here, and some of the original homes are still here. They were just small beach bungalows, and they were designed to drive people in and serve as basically little cottages and vacation homes. So there's really small lots and high density in the downtown area. And then there's a long history of rebuilding and then moving up into mixed use. So the advantage of this area is that it's super walkable. You can walk pretty much anywhere from this downtown area down to the pier, to the stores, to restaurants and everything. But I want to show you what this downtown area looks like. So, okay, so we're going to start right here. This is Rosa's Restaurant. We're on Ocean View Avenue. There's the motel, and then here's the surf shop up here where they sell all kinds of really cool trinkets. But that's not what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you some of the residential areas. I chose this street right here on Ocean View because I used to live here. The very first house that I lived in was right here, this little yellow house. And when I first moved in, they had just finished this big building. But what I wanted to show you is this is an original like Pismo Beach cottage, and so is this. They're all those homes are packed onto one lot, and so a lot of times what we see in Pismo Beach is people are buying these lots with the little cottages. They knock the cottage down and then they build condos like this. And it's really obvious as we go down Ocean View. It's a perfect example. So little beach cottages right here. And some of these just burned recently. But then look, right next door, we have this big property. So look at this piece of land is about the same size as this one with the little cottages. So, and then let's go down the street. So we're only a couple blocks from the beach here, but you can see, look, big houses. The closer we get to the beach, we're going to see some more growth, but we still have, look, little bungalow, big lot, open lot right there. That's been open for a very long time. And then as we get closer to the water, then we're going to see bigger builds. And then when we get right down here, we get into the hotels. Here's the Sea Venture. But look, Sea Venture Hotel, big giant hotel right next to this little bungalow. And then there's another one right next door and some more here. So Pismo Beach is really pretty neat in the downtown area. Now, let me show you why it's so popular here. One, it's right by the beach. It's close to the pier. And then we have boardwalks and we have walkways that you can take. It's not going to let me go down, but look at this walkway goes right down to the pier. So you can walk on the beach. You can go all over town. So that's our downtown district. Now, just off of Ocean View, we're going to go down Cypress Street. And this brings us down to the stores. So see how walkable this is. And then we have lots of new hotels here. But anytime you go down here, there's going to be a lot of foot traffic. Now we're at Cypress and at the main street. There's Splash Cafe on Pomeroy right here. There's no little bungalows left because one, we have this big hotel and we have a lot of retail shopping. And then this goes right down, showing how walkable this is. So look, you can go out and you can walk on the pier. You can go out and you can walk on these boardwalks that go all along Pismo Beach. So if you're really looking for that walkable uh, downtown feel, busy downtown feel, then this area is for you. Now, you do want to keep in mind that there's a lot of seasonal traffic here. It gets super busy during our festivals and especially during the summertime. So we have Clam Festival, we have different activities going on like car show weekend, and it gets really, really busy and congested. Parking is challenging. Um, but it is a lot of fun. It's up to you if that's what you like. And also in the summertime, it gets very, very busy because Pismo Beach gets cool. And then we have a huge influx of people that are coming from out east, Bakersfield, Fresno, and those areas because it's very hot out there and it's very cool here. So they all get in their cars and they come out for the weekend. So it gets really. The next area to grow was Shell Beach. So it starts right down here in the base and it's on the west side of the 101. Obviously, the 101 hasn't been here for a really, really long time. But this main area right here that you can see down by Margot Dodd Park, let's dive in and take a look because a man came in the 30s and he bought a huge section of land right in here. Okay, this is Shell Beach. And he separated it out to several hundred lots and he sold the lots for as low as $100, which was amazing. But he split it up. There are little lots in Shell Beach. Shell Beach is also really cool. They call it Shell Beach, but it's actually out on the cliffs. So there's very limited beach access in Shell Beach. However, we get the same feel in Shell Beach that we do in Pismo Beach, in that when these lots were originally sold, they were sold for these little bungalows. And you can see when there's a small bungalow on a lot that the lot looks pretty big. There's an empty lot there, and then small bungalow. And then you can see, I mean, these are all really small bungalows when they were originally built. And then people are coming in, they're buying these small lots, and then they're building something like this. So Shell Beach is a really neat mix of old and new. And let's see, Shell Beach is actually pretty big. So this original area down here in Shell Beach was historically a distinct coastal community. And it has a really different feel because again, it's on the bluff tops and it's not on the beach. So there's tide pools there. There have been some little beaches and some stairways that go down little beaches. A lot of the stairways have fallen. There's limited beach access to Shell Beach, but there is some. So people can still get down to the water and surf. There's a little bit of access, but it's nothing like Pismo Beach. It's not really a beach area. So now up here, it's a lot quieter than the downtown because we don't have that vacation chaos. The homes are really designed to be looking at the ocean. There's more of a neighborhood feel, and there's fewer commercial pockets. So all of this in this area in Shell Beach is residential, with the exception of the school. What an amazing location for an elementary school. So here's Shell Beach Road. We've seen a lot of great changes, a lot of great growth here. Specifically, that they changed this area and they put in this walking and bicycle path. So it makes it very friendly for walkers and bikers in Shell Beach. It wasn't the best for the parking, so parking can be a challenge here in Shell Beach. You can see all the foot traffic, people walking along, you see the stores, and then up here we're going to have, some more restaurants. So we have lots of stores in Shell Beach. It's very quaint, walkable, and it's pretty long. It's very narrow because it's in between the cliffs here to the west and the 101 on the right. So Shell Beach is a long and narrow part of Pismo Beach. People think that Shell Beach is its own town. It's not. It's a piece of Pismo Beach. But you see how long this road is? Got the brew house, great place to go have some drinks and food, watch some football. We keep on going down, more restaurants, more, coffee. There's Mae's Chinese. So this is really a destination place for locals. Now we are going to drive some out of town people here because like we have the kayaks that you can rent and all the restaurants. So people do come up here. And then as we go farther up Shell Beach Road, we're coming up on some more residential. There's our firehouse on the left. Now we have some multifamily growing here, so not all of Pismo Beach is, or excuse me, Shell Beach is really expensive. So there's multifamily townhomes. They're still pricey for a townhome, but there is some affordable places to live. Now, also down here, when we get down to Spyglass, just beyond Spyglass, past the Shell station, there's a Spyglass Inn, and then we go down a little bit farther, and we have more hotels. Then we get into some really high-end homes down into these neighborhoods here. Newer growth down here, and then some older growth in this part of Shell Beach. And then it goes up. So it stops right about here. And then we started growing more with the hotels and then Sunset Palisades, which is a little bit farther down our timeline. So the next area that we're going to go to is Pismo Heights. So this is where Pismo really started growing post-war. So the mid 1900s to the 1970s, when people were coming back from the war, they were settling down, they were starting families. So Pismo Heights, we'll dive into the map and get up there. It was developed as Pismo expanded, and this is bringing in more full-time residential living versus the like Shell Beach with the original cottages and stuff. While yes, people do live there full-time now, back in the day, they were still like vacation homes for people in the valley and second homes. So it's constantly changing in Pismo Beach. So our next section here is Pismo Heights. So this is where we started building up into the hills. So there's way less tourist spillover here. This is where people live full time, and it often feels like, oh gosh, hold on. Now, also when we get into, well, we gotta skip that. Okay, so when we get into Pismo Heights, we really start going up high. So Shell Beach, obviously on a cliff. The downtown area is right down at the beach. So the beach area, I mean, it's been wiped out by large waves, by sand blowing up on the beach. There's lots of. So we get across the highway at Pismo Heights. We start going up in elevation, so there's less threat of tsunamis, of the sand blowing and messing up lots. Also, this is where we start getting great views of the beach because we're going up into the hills. Now, kind of funny, you can see that we're on Bakersfield Street. So when this was built up, they were like, oh, these people are coming over from the valley and they're moving here. So we have streets like Bakersfield, Taft, Fresno, all different cities from the valley. So you can see up here we have some bigger lots. We've got some nice views and bigger homes. Now this goes way up the hill. It goes all the way up to the top of the hill, and let's go up. So Longview is the road that goes up the hill, and as we go up, you can see that we're going to get some bigger homes. There's another one, Tulare. That's a valley town. So now we have some bigger homes. This is where people are building up and getting their homes up high so they can see the views. You get amazing views up here because the elevation is actually quite high. So you can see how all these homes have these big windows. They have two-story homes. Sometimes you will see flat rooftop decks. And this is why, because they're way up here and look at the views. So you can see that they can see down on and see all along the water and the coast. As far as buyers up here, we're getting the long-term residents, we're getting families, getting kind of larger families because these are bigger homes. Back in the day, these were like value-focused relocators that were coming here. Now these homes are very expensive. That was the 70s. That was post-war growth. And now we're going to move to our next area. The next area that came in the mid 80s is Toucan Terrace. Okay, so this area that is in the red and white line, this is called Toucan Terrace. This is a has a planned unit feel up here. There are a lot of homes up here off of James Way. It's a great location because it's right off the Highway 101 and Oak Park, so it's easy to get to James Way and then also connects right down here to 4th Street. So James Way also runs pretty much parallel to Highway 101. So let's dive in and let's take a look at because this neighborhood it has a great neighborhood feel. It's a good location for families. Okay, it has a common area that people can use. So if you're hosting a wedding, you're hosting a big party or something, you can use the common area. I've been there many times. It's very nice. So here we go. We're down here on Francis. We're really close. I think um, that's the community area right there. And let's turn around and go up this street. So you can see we don't have a lot of rebuilt homes because these were built in the 1980s. Probably pretty soon we're going to start seeing some rehabs and see some changes, but you can see that a lot of these homes, they kind of look the same. It looks very much like a community that was built on purpose. And it's a really good place for families because you can see it's kind of off the beaten path. There's a wall that separates it from James Way. So once you're inside of Toucan Terrace, there's just a few roads that come in. And so you can see that it's separated by this hill. And then we also have the wall up at James Way. So when you're in here, this is a good, safe place for kids. It's a great place for trick-or-treating. Kids can ride their bikes, they can play out in the street. These homes are still, they're expensive, but not as expensive as some of the other parts of town. I think it was because of the construction. These were built to be a little bit more affordable. So now we've seen the original few parts. Thanks for hanging in there, because now, and wait till you see the very end, because we're going to get into the really new stuff. But now we're stepping up. We're going to go over to the Maddie Road Annex. And this started in the 1990s. It's called when Pismo Beach bought the property from Ms. Maddie, they offered to name the road Maddie Road because they took away her access to Highway 101. So I don't know if that would be worth it or not to lose that access, but apparently she was happy and got her name on Maddie Road. Now the cool thing, you see the Maddie Road Annex. Let's zoom out a little bit so you can see where this is. So right at the base of the annex is the Pismo Preserve, which is right in here. That was just recently opened up for us. Right here is the Pismo Preserve. This was blocked off for years and years and years and just opened up in the last few years here at Pismo Beach, which is awesome because it gave us this huge hiking area and mountain biking area. And also it goes way up into the hills. So once you get up there, even from the parking lot, it's an amazing view of Pismo Beach looking down onto the downtown area and the pier, which was really, really cool. So here we are, Maddie Road Annex. This all started in about the 1990s. So this was definitely planned out. They have multifamily living in the southern part, and then we get into some uh, high-end single-family living. We also have some gated communities up here, and it does feel a little bit separated from the rest of Pismo Beach, which is really nice. So if you want that extra space, some elbow room, uh, getting away from the tourists, this is a great place to be. Also, Maddie Road, you can see, runs along Highway 101. Now, here's a pro tip for so when there's a lot of traffic on Highway 101, a lot of locals come over here and take Maddie Road because Maddie Road, again, runs parallel to the 101. So 101 can get really choked up with traffic sometimes, not too often, but when that happens, you can take Maddie Road. The speed limit there is like 45 miles an hour, and it goes from Shell Beach almost up to Avila Beach. So that's just a pro tip. Now, let's take a look at the Maddie Road Annex. We're going to dive in and see what these homes look like. We have some nice, big, beautiful homes. Let's go right here, kind of in the middle of it. We should be in big homes. There we go. So you can see that this is definitely a planned community. We're up here on Costa del Sol. We have nice homes. You can see that they're quite a bit newer. Look at how the construction has changed. We have these tile or concrete roofs. We have stucco homes, and we have bigger homes. Now, these homes are kind of packed in. They're tighter together than some of the other neighborhoods that we've seen, but this is also significantly newer. This all started in the 90s, so these properties are new. This area is new. Let's get over where we can see why people want to live up here. So, looking out to the west from up here on the Maddie Road Annex, it's kind of hard to see, but that is the ocean there. So you can get great ocean views. You can see all the way to Point Sal to the south. You can go see almost out to Avila Beach to the north. Now, a suggestion is if you're going to live up in this area, it's a good idea to be over on this side, a little bit on the hillside, because this neighborhood, while it's very nice, the homes are nice, the views are incredible, and the location is very convenient. However, when you get up here and if you're on this side of the road and you're really close to the Highway 101, if your house wasn't built really soundproof, the highway can get loud. If you have a deck out in that side of the house, the 101's definitely going to be loud when you're outside. I've been in a lot of these homes, and when we close them up and it's nice and quiet inside, you open the doors facing the highway, and you can hear the noise from the cars going by. That's just a heads up. Now, if you want some more affordable living in this part of town, the south part of the Maddie Road Annex has multifamily living. So these are like townhomes and condos. You can see that there's a lot of parking in here, cluster boxes. So it means that there's a lot of people living in this area. So something a little bit more affordable. You see that there's some common area green space. You see we're right up here by the preserve and by the hills. So the hills offer privacy from the back, and then Maddie Road offers privacy from the front. So this is some more affordable and again, newer housing. Again, it's not cheap, but these are a lot more expensive than down the road. So as we go down Maddie Road, you'll see how things progress because the farther up north we go, the newer okay, we're back. So now we're on the north side of Maddie Road. You see how close it gets to the 101 now? Now this is all gated community. So here, this is gated. These are really, really nice homes. You get up here on the hills, we get 2, 3 story homes, great views. I love this part of town. It's not really for me because again, it's just a little bit loud. But All this is brand new growth. These are all brand new homes at the end of Maddie Road. You see how they're all geared up to be looking out on the ocean. And then check this out. Look at how close we are to the 101, to Avila Beach Drive. So right there, you can get on the 101, go north, and you're almost to San Luis Obispo. This is the northernmost part of the east side of 101, part of Pismo Beach. So very convenient to get to the highway. You can go underneath here from Maddie Road, and you can even walk if you're on the north side, and you can go underneath the highway, and there's food, there's stores, there's hotels, so lots of entertainment. So now we're going to move to our next section, and this is where Pismo Beach gets really elite and really expensive. So we're going to go from here, Maddie Road, back across the street to Shell Beach, and then right in here is Sunset Palisades. So if you want to live in an exclusive part of Pismo Beach, I think this is probably it, especially when you get down here to Bluff Drive and Indio, El Portal. This is a really interesting part of town because it is really pretty new. It was built in the late 90s to early 2000s, and we already see people knocking houses down and rebuilding. And the reason why is because of the location and the views. Let's take a look. So let's drop our guy right here on El Portal. Now, you can see why people would want to live up here. We have these big, beautiful homes. We have amazing views that we'll be able to see. You can see the ocean coming out. So you see how these homes are built. They're going down a hill, and then they look out over the water. The homes across the street, they're elevated. So these homes don't block the views. So everyone up here has a view. This is a really exclusive part of town, very expensive. Now, as we go down El Portal, we get into some really exclusive area down here on Indio Drive. So I say that it's really exclusive because one, look at these views, look at how nice this area is, and then we're going to get into the really exclusive part in this gated community. And we get into some huge mansions. They go all along this hill here, and they're really out there by uh, Pirates Cove. Okay. And this is a great, so when you get out here to this gated community at the end of Indio, this is a walking path. Okay. So we can walk down here. There's a parking lot right here. And this is a great walking path. So even if you like, I can't afford to live there, but I still love coming out here because this path walks along all the really nice exclusive homes up here that are on the hill, and it goes right along the cliff and it goes out toward Pirates Cove. So we're going to take a pause. We're going to turn around and let's go to check out the really big homes on the cliffs. So we're going to go down Indio, and then we're going to hang a right on our street right here. And here we go. So we're still on Indio. Now this is really super exclusive. This is where we get some really big, really high-end homes. You see how close we are to the water? They're all on the cliffs. So now we have some flatter single level homes out here, and that is with reason. You see these are low. They're big single level homes. That's so the people across the street with their bigger two-story homes can see the ocean. Now, up here, this is where we start getting into the multi-million dollar homes. Not that we didn't have them across the street, but we really start seeing big, exclusive homes. One just hit the market today for $12 million. It's not unusual to see 3, 4, 5, $6 million homes. Look at this one, the house. So that is Sunset Palisades. And just a quick little piece of trivia. You see how nice this is, and it is new. Back in the 40s, this area was actually called Oil Port, and there was an oil refinery out here. All this beautiful land was wasted on oil refinery. And then during World War II, we actually had troops up here, and they lived here. And after the war, some of them came back. They came back to Pismo Beach and they built over there in Pismo Heights when those were. This is what we're seeing in Pismo Beach growth today, right up here by this hardware store. I'm going to show you this area. This is what is happening in Pismo now. So this is a brand new community. Oh, it didn't let me go there. So here's a new community, and this is like really dense growth in this community. You see that how these are like townhomes slash homes, lots of common area, common parking. These are nice homes. I've been in a lot of them, but it's just a high density area. And it's now this is up by shopping, it's up by Orchard Supply, by some restaurants. It's really close to the frontage road, Branch Street here. That's going to bring you up to Walmart, to the other shopping like Trader Joe's, other food shopping. Now, this is the border of Pismo Beach and Oro Grande. And so as we go up here, we're going just a little bit farther. I'm parked and we get to this light. This is James Way. So this is really the corner of Pismo Beach. Across the street here might be Pismo or Rio Grande. I think right down the street, a block or two, that turns into a Rio Grande. But here's something that's really cool about this area. One, we have all that new growth down there. Two, Toucan Terrace that was built in the 80s is right down the street. And then right here on this corner of Oak Park and James Way is a medical campus, and this is all medical. You see, we have a little pharmacy here. We have the people that draw blood. You give your blood here. There's optometrists. There's specialists. So if you're going to go anywhere in this area for a specialist, like for eyes, for X-rays, there's a ton of doctors here, which makes it really, really nice and convenient because it's just so close to town. Now, let me show you one more area. This could be the last one where there's really some growth happening in Pismo Beach. And then we have some more new growth to the north, right up here off of Price Canyon. Now you can see and you can hear kind of a common theme that we're running into is the new growth, like here on Price Canyon. Here's Price Canyon. This is a great road. Price Canyon brings you from Pismo Beach to the Edna Valley, and then at the end of the street. And then it also brings you down to Highway 227 that goes straight to the airport and straight to San Luis Obispo to the left. And to the right, it goes into Arroyo Grande and heads out to Lopez Lake. So we're going down Price Canyon. This is just maybe a mile or two. And here's some more new growth in Pismo Beach. Now it's great. I mean, it's nice that we're expanding. We need homes. We need more residential areas. These are nice, big, new homes. Again, kind of my situation with the new growth in Pismo is that most of the good area and the good land has already been built on. So sure, we can expand, but here we go. We have all these new homes. Again, they're packed in, high density. They're right next to each other. Big, beautiful homes. They're tucked up against the hill, so it's nice and quiet there. Downfall, 227 is loud. We have a lot of trucks coming through. See this guy? We have a lot of vehicles coming through. And so the same as what we were talking about in the Maddie Road Annex, this is kind of loud. But this is how Pismo Beach is growing. So we have this new growth here. And then right across the way, let's see if we can see it, is Right over here is that new growth we were just at by Big Five, by the medical complex and everything. So Price Canyon, again, great location, super close to the beach. It's maybe just a mile down the road, and then you're into downtown Pismo Beach. But that's Pismo from starting from the very beginning to the very end. Okay, so now that you've seen all seven of these areas in Pismo Beach, from the original beach town core all the way to the new development out there on Maddie Road and Price Canyon. Hopefully, you can see why Pismo Beach feels so different depending on where you are. This is exactly why picking the right area matters just as much as picking the right house. If you're thinking about moving to the Central Coast, buying a second home, or selling in Pismo Beach, understanding these areas is step one. If you have any questions about which area fits you best, drop them in the comments. I read and respond to every one. And if you want more videos breaking down the Central Coast like this, make sure you're subscribed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.